Alright everyone, the other day there was a very slightly tongue-in-cheek artificial Astroturf trend on Twitter and elsewhere about where is Biden, because of course Joe Biden isn't going out in public very much. And so let me answer the question. He's largely not going out because he can't hold rallies. He's not going to be flying place to place for rallies he's not going to hold. There's really no reason for anyone to be campaigning right now. Bernie Sanders, by the way, basically doing the same, but here's the difference. Bernie Sanders is more tech literate. Bernie Sanders has, a younger overall staff, because younger people within the Dem field tend to favor him over Biden. They kind of know what they're doing with setting up a circle talk or a town hall or something. Is Biden really all that aware when it comes to such things? This has been the one real advantage that Bernie Sanders has had throughout the campaign. Bernie Sanders and his people just know more about tech-era optics, whereas Biden, he's stuck in the 1970s. Sometimes, literally, he thinks it's 1970. But here's the other reason. Biden doesn't need to campaign. He's 20 points ahead nationwide, and he's won, of the last 9 states in their primaries, has won 8 of them. The only one he lost was the one with the least delegates. He's winning by increasing margins, in fact, won every single of the last states by double digits. Florida by, I think, what was it, like 35 fucking points or something? He doesn't need to campaign. He's already won. He's clinched the nomination. He's 300 delegates ahead. You got a few weeks here to wait before another slew of primaries. He's probably going to win all of those. There's really nothing that he can... I mean, the worst thing that Biden could do right now, and this is almost an admission of what the Bernie fans, I'm sure, would say, is come out with a major gaffe. So if he doesn't go out and speak to anyone, it doesn't really matter. Bernie Sanders at this point can't campaign in live action either. He can't hold his rallies, which is another thing in which he sets up an example of getting 10,000 as opposed to Biden's 2,000 usually on a good day. So that would be bad optics for Biden. So long as Bernie Sanders can't physically campaign, Biden shouldn't say anything. He should absolutely just goddamn shut the hell up. He's already gotten all the endorsements. He's already got a major delegate lead. He's coming off of a slew of wins in the primaries. And right now is the time where Joe Biden can simply tweet about Trump and ramble about the coronavirus response and do what all the other Dems are doing. Bernie, by the way, is doing the same goddamn thing. I mean, all of these two people are doing at this point is complaining about Trump's response to coronavirus. That's really become the main issue, I think, of the campaign, at least for the moment. Now, I think that it's a real goddamn big trap that they're walking into by doing that. Do you think that public attention will still be predominantly on coronavirus by Election Day? I don't think so. Not unless it blows up in our face and mutates and starts killing 20-30% of the population. Because at some point it's going to slow down because it's already infected everyone it can infect because everyone's already been infected. They'll already be sick or they'll have recovered and be resistant. At some point, some degree of quarantine does begin to take effect. It begins to have an effect of reducing the caseload. We've got potential medical treatments now that can be mass-produced relatively cheaply. Anti-malarial drugs that are produced from basically absinthe wormwood, which is readily available and basically grows like a weed, artemisins. If that's the case, the medicine works. People aren't really going to be thinking about this come June or July, let alone November. But yet, the wagon of these two campaigns, they're both hitched to the same horse of Orange Man bad, specifically on this issue. But if you look at the polling on the coronavirus response, Trump's doing reasonably well. I'm making a video about that as well. Right now, his approval's still hovering around between 43 and 45. This is sort of a long-term average sort of thing, and he's risen a couple of points above that at times as well. He's not doing so bad. His approval is around where Obama was at this point in his presidency. In fact, I think about a point higher. He's got nothing to worry about, unless the economy decides to tank. If it continues to sort of stabilize and it looks like the chloroquine works, expect it to rise considerably. Expect most of that economic damage to be recovered by November. If that happens, Trump will probably be reelected. Biden, meanwhile, he's just going to sit on the sidelines and tweet, because the tweet... He can say what he wants tweeted, and then a staffer can do it. And they can make suggestions. And of course, he's like Hillary Clinton. It takes him a focus group to make a tweet. Bernie, I think, is a little bit more off the cuff, because he's very much, he's been very much the same in all of his messaging for the most part since the 70s. He knows what to say and how to say it. He's got that particular advantage. You know, of course, it's sort of like, just beating a dead horse at some point, but at least he's definitely competent in the sense of maintaining his message. Whereas Joe Biden, he doesn't. He sort of jumps all over the place. But he's got it clinched. I mean, the lowest win that he's had in any of the recent states, in Washington State, he still wins by, I believe, 11 points, if I remember correctly. Still by, double digits. Lower than what he got in Florida or Illinois, but still a significant enough win to give him a delegate boost. He wins one of the biggest, he wins the biggest contest left, which was Florida, by 30-some-odd points. Gets a huge delegate lead. He got almost a boost of 100 delegates just from one state. So why would he need to campaign? He can't go out in public and do it. The only other thing he can do is like a town hall. He can do like a thing like Trump would do. He can give a speech. But Joe Biden's not good at that sort of thing. Why the hell would he want to? So no, he doesn't have corona or something like that. He's off the campaign trail partially because of a pandemic, partially because there's nothing left to campaign against. He's waiting for the general because he knows he's already the candidate. He's already the Democratic nominee. The Bernie babies don't want to admit that, but he basically... Bernie Sanders keeps cryptically remarking, well, I'm still considering the fate of my campaign. And people saying, well, he might drop out. He might kind of suspend his campaign, but still technically be there. He might decide to go all in and keep going, which I think is dumb. At some point, he's going to be forced out anyway because there's too big a delegate gap, and he's got too low a ceiling, and he's coming from too far behind, and he just doesn't quite get it. He doesn't get the fact that even among Democrats, they've rejected socialism, and he keeps using that dirty word to describe himself. And that's really what fucked him. That and the fact that he has a heart attack, he's 78 years old. Come on, dude. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's not a spring chicken in his mid-70s like he was in 2016. He's almost an octogenarian. I'm sorry, but the revolution isn't televised if there's no revolution to televise. That's about all. Peace out.